Alright, this is just a continuation of the previous one. We're just going to do the second example now. We're starting off with a geometric problem. So this adds a little bit of flavor. Now my afternoon class, my 7th period, didn't get to see this because of the power interruptions. So we're going to have a slightly different flavor to this problem. Follow along closely. And what we're doing differently as opposed to how we started the algebraic proof on the previous example was we have this as given, and we can read this a couple of different ways. One of the most straightforward ones is to look at it geometrically. This big angle PQR is going to be, using the angle addition postulate, this angle plus this angle. So this big angle is equal to these two angles here. And that's what I'm going to start off with, my given or my initial postulate, since we don't have an algebraic equation. We want to prove that x is equal to 17, so that's our goal. So we're going to use the measures of these angles to start off with. So I'll go ahead and write the measure of PQR, my big angle, is equal to the measure of PQS plus the measure of SQR. Now we're using measures, that's why we're using the equal sign and not the congruent sign. And that's going to be our given. That is our angle addition postulate. Angle addition postulate. Boom. That's why we can do that. I'll go ahead and put in parentheses given. And let's go ahead and do our next step. This is what is hugely different. These first two things are hugely different from the previous example. PQR is nothing more than 2x. I'm sorry, 90 degrees. Right here, there's our clue. That's 90 degrees. So I'm going to substitute in for 90. PQS is 2x. So I substitute that in. And SQR is 4x minus 12. And I use the word substitute a lot because that's exactly what we're doing. We're using the substitution property of equality. Substitution, I'll go ahead and write it out, but I will use POE. We are using equality since we have the equal signs. And look, I substituted, this is just 90, that is just 2x, and that is just 4x minus 12. Now we're back into our familiar territory of algebra proofs. Looks like I got to combine like terms, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. 90 is equal to 6x minus 12. And all I did was simplify. Don't forget, so that's just a terrible simplify. I'm pathetic, I know I am on this writing. Alright, what did I do here? Well, I just added 12 to both sides. That will be what property? The addition property of equality. One more step. 6 goes into 102. Well, 17 times. It goes into 90, 15, and that's just 12 over, so that's just 2 more. So we have 17 is equal to x. And we use the division property of equality. You have one like this on your homework. Might be very similar, actually. So check your homework work with this one and see how they compare. Biggest change from the previous example was we have a geometry start. We wrote our geometry postulate, angle addition postulate right here, that this big angle is equal to these two angles. And then we worked our algebra 1 after that. Alrighty, so I will upload some short geometry congruency type concepts on this next video. Hopefully tonight. We'll see what happens. It's raining bad, so we're not going to South Lake.